You guys are watching NFL Daily. Here's what's coming up on today's show. Fairly jam-packed news and rumors edition. Zach Wilson has been benched by the Giants. We'll break down what that means. The Odell Beckham latest in terms of the Cowboys end up getting him. Sean Payton buzz, I'll call it that word. Davis Mills has been benched. We think. Well, I'll explain what I mean. And with Matthew Stafford out again, Darrell Henderson has also been claimed by from the Rams. We'll break down who did that in a little bit. But we begin with Zach Wilson, as the Jets, in somewhat of a surprise move, are making the move to sit their former number 2 overall pick after another bad offensive showing that was amplified by what Zach Wilson said post-game, where he was asked, hey, do you feel like you let the defense down when you only scored 3 points and something like 107 yards of offense? And he said no, which is not the right thing to say from an accuracy standpoint, which he knows about those issues this year, and from being the right type of leader that you need. Mike White, the former third string to begin the year quarterback for the Jets, will get the start instead. Wilson, simply put, has not been good this year. He has struggled with making the simple throws. He's at points made the hard look easy, but has consistently made the easy look hard. He's completing under 56% of his passes. He has more interceptions than touchdowns. Sure, the Jets went 5-2 with him as the starter, but that's why we never believe in quarterback wins as a stat. So Mike White will get the start this week for the Jets. Joe Flacco, who began the year as the starter with Zach Wilson banged up, is now going to be quarterback 2. And Zach Wilson, at least for this week, is going to be inactive. The Jets and Robert Saleh say, we're not out on Wilson altogether, but he needs this time to kind of get himself right a little bit, which is fine. But you're getting benched as the number 2 overall pick, we'll say roughly a year and a half into your career. That's not very good. Is Zach Wilson a bust? Sound off for me in the comments section. Y for yes, N for no. If you got to pick one right this moment, do it. Y or N. Let's talk Odell Beckham now. The Cowboys remain in hard pursuit of landing Odell Beckham in NFL free agency, and in what I'm calling, and many others are as well, the Beckham Bowl, Cowboys-Giants tomorrow on Thanksgiving Day. Could be the winner gets to sign Odell Beckham if the money ends up working out, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. Dak Prescott has had communication with Odell Beckham. It's allowed. He's a free agent, by the way. Here's what he said. We're getting him in for a visit. Hopefully everything is great in the recruiting process. He knows how much I want him here, and a lot of these guys in this locker room have reached out on their own in different ways to make sure that he understands this is a team that he can help, and we want him to come help. There have been 5 teams, most notably in the mix for Odell Beckham. Teams like the Rams and Packers have faded out because they're not contenders this year. Cowboys, Giants, the 2 favorites. Bills, Niners, Chiefs should not be overlooked either. The Cowboys, from a making Odell Beckham feel the love standpoint, have done a fantastic job with their players. Now it's up to the front office to close that deal. So our pin question on today's show: who will sign Odell Beckham Jr.? C for the Cowboys, G for the Giants, O for other. If you type in other, let me know which team, Niners, Chiefs, Bills, etc. It's the pin comment, like I said. So if the ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. The Cowboys have been viewed as the betting favorite, and receiver isn't as big of a need at this current moment. They're also one injury away from being in very dire straits because Jalen Tolbert can't even line up on sides properly. Kevontae Turpin's not been used as an offensive playmaker, and James Washington is still on IR. If Gallup can't get going all the way, Noah Brown gets banged up again, Lamb gets hurt, they're in trouble. Now, they've got more salary cap space than the Giants do. And the Giants are in really bad need of a wide receiver. Darius Stills, Bills waiver claim, Isaiah Hodgins, Kenny Golladay, Richie James. 2 of their top couple receivers are on IR, not to mention Kadarius Toney, who's also got a hamstring issue again, is an issue. He's now with the Kansas City Chiefs. So the Giants in big-time need. Now, Beckham wants a bigger contract. ESPN said $20 million prorated, which would be like $5 million the rest of the year. NFL Network had said maybe $15 million, and I wonder if Beckham even gets either of those figures, even on a prorated deal, because teams have not seen that need for themselves. So I think that's got to be sorted out before teams start throwing big money. Visits allegedly planned after Thanksgiving for Odell Beckham, Cowboys, Giants among them, and I bet we get word of a third one coming up soon too. The money will be sorted out, and I would suspect something along the lines of a creative contract where he gets a couple million this year, maybe 2, 3, somewhere in that range. And then there are triggers in the contract to determine the guarantees and options and all that stuff in a future deal for next year, allowing a team an out in case he gets hurt or struggles, and then allowing Beckham to potentially cash in a big way if he plays really well once he joins the team. Today's NFL Daily is sponsored by Established Titles. It's a fun and novel way to preserve the natural woodlands of Scotland while helping global reforestation efforts. It's a project based on the historic Scottish custom where landowners are referred to as lairds or lords and ladies in English. Title packs at least 1 square foot of dedicated land with a unique plot number on a private estate in Edelston, Scotland, and an official certificate with a crest. They plant a tree with every order and work with global charities, One Tree Planted and Trees for the Future, to support global reforestation efforts. You can officially include the title Lord or Lady on your credit card, plane ticket, dating profile, etc. Makes a great last-minute gift. The first 200 people who purchase a title pack using my link will effectively be next to my plot, within a few minutes of walking distance. Depending on how many of you want to become a Lord or a Lady, we can then build our own little NFL Daily Kingdom. It makes an amazing last-minute gift. With discounts up to 80% off, Established Titles is actually running a massive holiday sale right now. Plus, if you use promo code CHAT, you get an additional 10% off. Go to establishedtitles.com/chat to get your gifts now and help support the channel. That link, establishedtitles.com/chat, and the promo code CHAT are in the comments section and the description of today's video. Let's move to some Sean Payton buzz. ESPN mentioned some new teams that could be in the mix for Sean Payton, depending on if their current coaches get fired. The Chargers and Cardinals specifically mentioned in the latest ESPN piece. The Panthers, Cowboys also mentioned, but those teams have been talked about for a while. Payton wants to go. He preferred some warmer weather, which checks off Dallas, LA, Arizona, kind of Carolina too. Not quite as warm, but not bad weather by any mistakes there. He also wants to have a quarterback in place. 3 of those teams do. Carolina does not, but they have a premium draft pick. They could draft somebody. Also, the big issue here, Sean Payton would have to be traded by the Saints. Now, they can say, F you, you're not going to the division rival Carolina. And I don't know if Carolina is the most appealing job to Sean Payton anyway. We'll see if the Chargers and Cardinals fire their coach, but LA, if they fire Brandon Staley, would be wildly appealing for Sean Payton. You have Justin Herbert. You're out with the LA Chargers. They've been an aggressive team. Herbert's cheap right now. They have shown willingness to spend the way the Saints did, at least this past offseason the Chargers did. That could be a prime Sean Payton destination if they fire Brandon Staley. And, of course, Dallas has been linked to Sean Payton for what seems like this entire time he was in New Orleans because, of course, he came from the Cowboys originally. I think that's one certainly worth mentioning. We'll keep an eye on Sean Payton throughout the NFL coaching carousel. But where do you think Sean Payton will end up next? Maybe even back with the Saints. I know producer Trace wants that one pretty badly. Make those predictions for me in the comment section. Let's talk Davis Mills. The reports from ESPN, NFL Network were that the Texans have benched Davis Mills and are going to start Kyle Allen at quarterback against the Miami Dolphins. That is what's been reported by pretty much everyone around the Texans, despite the coaching staff, I think, trying to play some gamesmanship. Head coach Lovie Smith declined to say, has there been a change? He didn't want to answer it. Pep Hamilton, the OC, was asked to make a change. He said no, but Kyle Allen got the first team reps today, so I would be inclined to believe Davis Mills has been benched, and it makes sense. He's been terrible this year. I know there are other issues there for the Texans organization beyond just the quarterback, but we can't pretend that Davis Mills has played well this year. He leads the NFL in interceptions. A couple of his best passing plays have been screens and checkdowns. He's not making a lot of plays. He has regressed this year as his neck continues to grow larger and larger. It's like the opposite of... Well, I'm just not going to make that joke. It's inappropriate there. But Davis Mills has got to figure things out in terms of being an NFL quarterback, and the Texans are trending towards the number 1 overall pick, which could get Lovie Smith fired. They're trying to win football games. Although Kyle Allen is not going to be the franchise savior, I think we honor that. But he can be a nice backup for you. The Texans, though, I do believe are trending rapidly towards having the number 1 overall pick, and that would allow them to take a new franchise quarterback, Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, etc., at number 1 overall. And we will have a new NFL mock draft for you right here on Chat Sports. We'll have the best NFL coverage for you. Hit that subscribe button, whether it's the red version or the black and white if you're on the new updated version of YouTube. YouTube.com/@ChatSports. Hit that sub button for free right now. Darrell Henderson has been claimed. Unlike Melvin Gordon, when his team cut their former starting running back, Henderson's found a new team. The Jacksonville Jags, fairly early and high up in the waiver claim priority, did claim Henderson off of waivers today after a bit of a surprise cut when the Rams had made this big deal about, we're going to cut Cam Akers or trade, and then they kept Cam Akers, and Henderson ends up getting cut as Henderson's now in line to back up Travis Etienne, as once he gets the playbook and up to speed with everything there, he's going to be RB number 2, 4 yards. He's not bad. He's not a superstar player. That's, again, why the Rams were willing to cut him, as the Rams have had a really rough go. Now Matthew Stafford's banged up. Bryce Perkins is going to get the start for L.A. It's been a season to forget, and the hangovers of all hangovers for the Super Bowl champions. Henderson, though, now a member of the Jacksonville Jags.